Starting off this hour, National Security Agency leaker Edward Snowden spoke via satellite to an audience at the South by Southwest conference in Texas this afternoon. Now, South by Southwest is an annual gathering of people from the music, film, and emerging technologies industries. Snowden spoke about the need for better encryption technology and called out a number of American officials for being complicit in NSA mass surveillance. RT correspondent Ramon Galindo is in our LA studio, and he joins me now with a wrap-up. Ramon, thank you so much for being here, first of all. Now, Snowden said that he had to use 7 proxies to appear at that conference. Why was that, and what did Edward Snowden speak about at this conference?
That's right, Megan. Well, Edward Snowden, he is still somewhere in Russia where he's been granted asylum from espionage charges, which he is facing here in the United States. So for him and his supporters, it's still very important to keep his exact location secret. And according to South by Southwest organizers, there were some concerns that his video feed that was scheduled for today might have been interfered with or cut off. In the end, there were some sound delays, but all in all, it went off without a hitch. And for most of the discussion, Snowden really emphasized the importance of encryption technology, the privacy on the internet, and really highlighting the potential downfalls of mass surveillance that the NSA is conducting.
Ramon, this is one of the first times that Edward Snowden has spoken out in such a long time, particularly to a mass audience. So why is he addressing the technology community rather than policymakers?
Sure. Well, he did talk to the European Union last week, but as far as South by Southwest, this is something that's attended by innovators, entrepreneurs, tech geeks, hackers. So a community that he really wanted to reach out to and really to urge to develop encryption technology, to develop protections that would really help the usual consumer all over the country and all over the world. Let's hear from him now.
They're the folks who can really fix things, who can enforce our rights through technical standards, even when Congress hasn't yet gotten to the point of creating legislation to protect our rights in the same manner. When we think about what's happened with the NSA over the last decade in the post-9/11 era, the result has been an adversarial internet, a sort of global free fire zone for governments. That's nothing that we ever asked for. It's not what we wanted. And it's something we need to protect against. When we think about the policies that have been advanced, sort of erosion of Fourth Amendment protections, the proactive seizure of communications, there's a policy response that needs to occur, but there's also a technical response that needs to occur. And it's the makers, it's the thinkers, it's the development community that can really craft those solutions and make sure we're safe. The NSA, the sort of global mass surveillance that's occurring in all of these countries, not just the US, and it's important to remember that this is a global issue, they're setting fire to the future of the internet.
And Snowden went on to add that the current U.S. intelligence policy is not only costly, but has also been a failure because it's failed to catch certain suspects, because the dragnet is really catching everybody and not just targeting on specific suspects. He gave the examples of the so-called underwear bomber and the Boston Marathon bombers to point out examples of where U.S. intelligence has failed.
Now, Ramon, I understand this was about an hour-long speech. Did he say anything that was surprising?
Sure. Well, it probably wasn't surprising that he went on to continually criticize the NSA and its intelligence failures. But what was interesting is the way that he explained why your personal information is a lot more dangerous in the hands of the government as opposed to being in the hands of private corporations like Facebook and Google. Let's listen to that part of his speech.
The government has the ability to deprive you of rights. Governments around the world, whether it's the United States government, whether it's the Yemeni government, whether it's, Zaire, any country, they have police powers, they have military powers, they have intelligence powers. They can literally kill you, they can jail you, they can surveil you. companies can surveil you to sell your products, to sell your information to other companies, and that could be bad, but you have legal recourse. First off, it's typically a voluntary contract. Secondly, you've got court challenges you use. If you challenge the government about these things, and the ACLU itself actually has challenged some of these cases, the government throws it out on state secrecy and says, you can't even ask about this.
Snowden also went on to say that current encryption technology does work because, as of right now, the U.S. intelligence apparatus is still not sure of all the documents that he has turned over to journalists. And Snowden and Glenn Greenwald himself have said that we can expect more leaks to come out.
Now, I know that Congressman Mike Pompeo asked the creators of South by Southwest to rescind their invitation to Edward Snowden. Was there any indication as to why they decided to continue despite potential backlash?
Yeah, well, Representative Pompeo did tell South by Southwest to kill the panel, saying that allowing Snowden to speak would encourage lawlessness. But at the end, organizers said that they appreciated Pompeo's interest, but their goal was to have an open platform. And they said that they would love to have the NSA on for a lecture themselves if they were interested. But their goal was to have an open platform, and they very much welcomed Snowden's message with open arms.
And having an open platform, they certainly did. Julian Assange also spoke at South by Southwest on Saturday, and journalist Glenn Greenwald spoke today. Has South by Southwest historically given a platform to somewhat controversial figures, or is this the first time?
Well, South by Southwest typically is known as a festival that highlights the latest in film, music, and technology. And in the past, there have been panels as far as how politics and technology do merge, highlighting certain liberal and conservative activists. But this year, there definitely has been more of a political tone, as you mentioned. Glenn Greenwald, Julian Assange from WikiLeaks, Edward Snowden, and also later in the festival we'll be hearing from Rahm Emanuel, mayor of Chicago, former chief of staff for Barack Obama, and Chelsea Clinton. There's also organization Forward.us, which is trying to push immigration reform. And they're also screening the film Cesar Chavez, who was a very polarizing figure during his day. But so definitely this year has shown that it has taken a much more, there has been more presentations with a political leaning for sure.
RT correspondent Ramon Galindo, thank you so much for reporting.
You bet.